and I'm moving these forces to go on an eco-raid. Look, there are mines there, I didn't know. And this attack's kicking off.
Battle control initialized.
Hello there, comrades and cannon fodder. It's Dvoid here. This is a 1v1 multiplayer game. This was my first game of the day, and we're on Scorched Earth map. I'm using Russia, my opponent's using Ukraine for this game. We've got a spectator for this one. I'm in my usual red colour, in the, excuse me, bottom right. My opponent's got this sort of, what is it, kind of dull purple sort of colour, purple anyway, in the top left, and they're going for a kennel. So they want a dog early for the extra view range, always a good move. As a rule, I don't often build kennels, but, you know, because it's 4 less infantry, and that means often that's 3 rifles from my home base and 1 rifleman to escort my engineer. So, but, and now you know, if you start to see your troops dying to something like a dog with the extra view range, then back off, you know. But it wasn't obvious at this point that my opponent had a dog. Now they're firing, you know, I didn't know, they weren't firing blind because they're hitting targets directly, so I had to back off. And now I'm hoping to capture this as soon as I can because they're taking pot shots at this guy, but they know they can't advance into that. So they've used their dog, but it's reached its limit. It's got them 2 to 3 in kills. But they're also... and I'm sending these 3 rifles to escort my engineer, but I thought they'd be going over this way. I just had a feeling, so I'm sending 3 riflemen ahead. And my rifleman's going here to wait for the enemy engineer, see what this guy's doing. And he went in an unusual order. So it's... threw off my expectations of where the engineer might be, according to where mine is. Look, and I was actually trying to order that back. And I don't know whether I didn't issue the commands properly or it didn't respond in time. I don't know, but yeah. My engineer got shot, so I'm huddled around this. And my opponent's sending 4 rifles to escort that engineer. So there's no... look at that. Oh no, don't do that. You should have just stayed there. Oh, that's tragic. Look. Oh, what a shame. It's because of the timing. I thought, well, mine's long gone and done capturing that. My opponent was probably ahead. And, yeah, and I can't believe that. What a shame. I would have caught that guy. It's a possibility. How tragic for my poor lone rifleman. But my opponent wasn't being lazy. Yeah, he had his engineer escorted well enough. He's still got the dog there in the centre, combined with the view range of the hospital. You shouldn't have them next to each other. May as well have the dog surrounded by troops here, just to extend your view range bonus a little further. May as well make use of it, rather than overlapping them. Like overlapping 2 construction yards, having 1 here. Yeah, you'll get the faster build speed, but you're overlapping 2 areas of production, of build radius, which is pointless. When you could have it in another location, mining at another ore field, for example. And there's my opponent's engineer. That's a little, what's the word? Ambitious. Yeah. Ordering him to do that. You're going to have to tell him not to, in a sec. Well, I hope so. There's the dog and a flak truck. My viewers will know my opinion of a flak truck, but I'm not eager to use my APC as a screening unit because it's full of grenadiers. So I'm thinking, oh, hang on a minute, no, I don't want it to get shot. So it's running away. It's at half health up. But I thought, well, hang on a minute, it looks like I've won this engagement. My opponent was wrong enough to move into my view range. And there's their engineer dead. So I advanced because I saw him. And I didn't have to cut off his retreat. So my APC is going about its business with the grenadiers. And I'm thinking, well, it's at half health, but whatever. And I'm trying to set off a distraction to draw my opponent's attention while I use this. So I thought, well, the hospital, that's one way of distracting my opponent. He may try and attack while my troops are busy. Obviously, he's not close enough, but it's causing him to huddle, look, in preparation of me pressing on. So that's where his attention is. Here we go. No troops here because he's huddling. I don't know where that term's just come from, but whatever. Yeah, he is kind of. It works. And there you go. He was ready with flame tower, sadly. But look at that. Splash damage and the grenades being thrown. That was gaze. But I've moved away and there's nothing else there. Oh, look, he's sold up. Well done. And I thought about moving the grenadier and attacking, but nah. I've got one. Let's see if... Oh, he's in low power, so they did their duty. And the APC survives. And he's not repairing that yet, so he's going to be in low power for a little bit. Yes, he is now, sorry. Right, and I'm trying to group these together and send out rifle scouts, look, with this vehicle. Just in case I have to match like a counter-attack, I need some kind of screening vehicle and view range. So they are retreating, this is going for repairs, but at least now it's a more complete force if I'd have needed it. Now, the tank will be there in a few moments, so I'm just going without a screening vehicle for a few moments, but this is, you know, should scout and warn me if he's moving up here. If he's going to, he's probably going to move as with units in, like, to escort an MCV. That's what he's most likely to move in this direction for. If it's not, if he's just attacking, I would have seen him by now. If it was just a roving attack force without an MCV or any backup, then you would he wouldn't be hanging about. Well, he shouldn't be. Now you see I'm sending as many rifle scouts out as I can. My opponent's got one there. He's waiting for the oil derrick capture, but I'm not training a second engineer. Or so far I haven't. I've got my one oil derrick. My opponent's got two, and he's guarding my second. But I'm moving forward with an MCV. The APC's repaired, and my tank is being slowed down. You see, if you want your tanks to hurry up to the front line, you need to avoid this. Because they move quicker than infantry. So, but if they get stuck behind them, they're being dragged down. Now, let's have a look at the army values. I'm at 18,000 army value. My opponent's at 12,000 army value. And I'm advancing here, securing this oil field without mining from it. I'm just securing it with my barracks and defences. So you see my army now has got vehicles, infantry and base defences and infantry production and build radius. So my opponent's right to back off. Because I've got just about all the assets I could want at this point in the game. Next thing is artillery. And there we go, I know I can destroy that. And my opponent's not far from low power, he'll have to watch it. But the APC's stuck on the front line. I moved it there quickly just so these units would have a screening unit while the bulk of my force was within defence range. But here we go, look, there's an engagement and I'm moving these forces to go on an eco-raid. Look, there are mines there, I didn't know. And this attack's kicking off. 15,000 army value to me, 9,000 to my opponent. And I should have combined them all in a big force and smashed him. I just wanted to try and do some damage to his economy at the same time. And when these tanks were on the way, because I need them at the front line, look, I saw these power plants and decided to destroy them. And thought, these guys can hold on for now. But I'm down to a 9,000 army value, my opponent's at 6. I'm at 7, so I'm suffering losses. But I had to get those tanks to the front line, I should have hurried up. There's a Tesla coil, that's causing problems. And now there are tanks on the front line, I want to try and press my attack. But I need to keep away from that Tesla coil, look. I'm at 8,000, my opponent's at 5,000 in army value, and I'm bringing my MCV closer and some vehicles to the front line because I'm about to lose that one. There you go, look. Now, this is... I need those tanks. I was just going to say I'm pushing it a bit, but with the tanks up front, I'll be okay. I just need to avoid the Tesla coil. Now, V2. That's a problem. And my economy, my cash appears to be okay. But there's very little mining going on here. I've just started to mine here, and I need a refinery there. But my cash is dwindling, and my opponent's is not. So I've got to back off away from this V2. I don't want that at all. So I'm packing up with my MCV. Let's see what my opponent can see. Oh, he knows he can see. And I thought they'll notice unit moving over there. So I need to continue to produce infantry here to cause a distraction if he attacks, and back away and set up a fallback expansion here. See, that's why you expand forward if you get the choice, rather than me expanding here in the first place and my opponent moving forward to attack. That's why you expand here, and at least you can fall back if you have to here. And I'm sending this force on an eco-raid, still unaware of the mines. And this force drawing my opponent's attention. And the eco-raid's doing some damage at least. It looks like I've got a couple of rocket soldiers in there. My opponent's responding. I'm at 13,000 army value, my opponent's at 12,000. So now I'm thinking, well, I've seen units and they're responding here. So I'm trying to regroup everything. 14,000 army value each, but my opponent, crucially, has got tech. And my economy, I've got 0 cash. I thought I kind of like was okay, but my opponent's using very small groups of units to chip away at my ore trucks lot. But I'm thinking, right, I need to go for a large attack and hit my opponent here. So that's what I'm trying to do now. I can see these V2s chipping away, but I'm hoping that there's not a lot there. So I'm trying to do some damage. We're both at 17,000 army value. It's because my opponent's got tech, and there's a second ore truck lost to a group of 3 infantrymen. And I'm still not reacting. Luckily, I've mined most of that, but to lose 2 ore trucks when I'm at such a crucial point, you see these V2s firing, but now I'm overrunning, my opponent's going to have to react. So yeah, I've got most of my tanks up there, I've got my primary production, I'm going for an attack, and I'm trying to destroy the V2s, but they're backing off, and now I can see my opponent hit me here. And I've ordered my tanks up front, and I can see that's no good. This is no-no. So I'm falling back. I just have to. That's really bad. I'm at 11,000 army value. My opponent's at 18,000. I've just been shown that tech can win, you know, at the right time. And I just started to run out of cash. So it was the perfect timing for tech. For my opponent to start to use these numbers. Look, it's 3 V2s, and he'll know exactly what he's doing with these V2s as well. I guarantee it. So I'm making a stand here, and I've run out of vehicles. But look, I didn't do too badly. I just, you know, got the last bit where my forces sort of broke. My opponent's still got 3 V2s left. That's not good. And it was actually at a crucial point where I was going to build my radar dome, and I cancelled it because of my economy situation. And you see, I'm moving forward here to check to make sure that the enemy hasn't got an expansion. So I've got a site for my next expansion where I'm going to set up a refinery. And there you go, my ore trucks are on the way, because this is my current main supply of ore. And look, those 3 infantry are there. They've probably killed a few ore trucks by now. So well done to them, and I've probably noticed by now. Or maybe not. But I'm at 10,000 army value, my opponent's at 14,000 army value. And here's an eco-raid from me, but my opponent's well and truly ready for it. Base defences. The single base defence was enough to deal with it, and they've got this. So, you know, that's not how you fight a war. You know, that's useless flailing around like... And look, he's got me. There you go, infiltrations during the capture. That's a taste of my own medicine, and we call it the chokehold. So let's see how I like it. But what I did was, I noticed that, and I ordered all of my ore trucks to stop mining. I ordered them all to fill up and stop collecting ore. So they're all going to basically fill up their tanks and stop. That was my reaction. Because I'm not having my opponent stealing all my cash. They're all going to fill up with ore and wait. Look, you see, I've ordered them all to do that. This one is moving back. And as I've just cleared a few units away from there, I'm going to harvest from here and wait here. And these ore trucks They're just going to wait as well. So my opponents finished the capture because I wasn't providing any more cash. No way. And now that my opponents captured it, my ore trucks are now can all harvest again. So that was, because I didn't have Yak attack planes, that was my only response. I didn't have V2s, so I thought, if I go there with my army, my opponent's going to have a force ready to ambush me. Now, I've moved in this direction and seen my opponent fall back, but on the other hand, I've also got to defend the rest of my base. Let's just check on army values. 12,000 to me, 25,000 to my opponent. And you see what I would have faced. Look. And my opponent's got a horde of thieves, and like I say, a taste of my own medicine. Here's 4 Yak attack planes. They're going on a power plant hunt, and I've got nothing to stop them. Now, my opponent's had planes up to this point, but not, and they haven't massed them and used them like that. So let's just check. My power is okay, funnily enough. I actually handled that, and trying to set up on their route to their airfield to destroy them. Because I knew where their airfield was, so I'm trying to set up an ambush so they have to fly over it. Plus, I'm now building flak trucks. That, I can't permit that. I have to build some anti-aircraft defences. I have no choice. And I do keep getting glimpses of my opponent's units. Look, you see, I'm parking them here where my opponent's airfield is, just letting them circle and die. And the thieves up front, they're too valuable to... And I saw them and thought, right, I'm going to destroy them. Oh, they were trying to capture. Fair play to them. I thought that was a mistake, but it wasn't. They were trying to capture my heavy tanks. So, yeah, fair enough. You see how my flak trucks are in the middle and my tanks are on the outside. I'm doing my best, trying. I'm doing my best. I'm at 11,000 army value now, and I had to fall back because my opponent destroyed my ore truck immediately upon me setting up that expansion. So I'm sending a force with anti-aircraft defences because these Yaks can wipe out an MCV. And I noticed an attack here, so I've got to move my ore truck away and respond to it. And there's an attack here, so my ore trucks have to move away from there as well. Luckily, I'm setting up here. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm setting up a new expansion away from enemy harassment while I respond to the current problem. So my tank's up front screening while the flak trucks open fire on the troops. Now, they're not lethal, but at least that's the best I can do at the moment in the view range of my structures. So it is at least efficient. Look, the first tank's still there fighting, and that's not bad. Now the second tank can start screening. These guys don't have a hope. But this is a different story. And I'm moving my MCV, though, so I still have view range. And I've got this expansion up and running, and my opponent's got them here. That's a perfect place to attack. And they're destroying the refinery. Oh, what a shame. I could have set up base defences there. That's a shame. Now my ore trucks are going to have to move past them. Oh, that's not good. And I've got my hands full here. So I probably didn't even know. Look, what a shame. Oh, yeah, I did realise and thought, well, why didn't they destroy that? I did wonder about that, actually, to be fair. There you go. Overrun. Beaten. That's it. It was now, at this point, it's clear. And there you go, I've called it. So there you are. That was how my first game of the day went. I hope people liked that because it was nice, fun, challenging game. It was a shame I didn't win it because I could have done. I think if I'd have hit my opponent at the right time with my entire army here, I would have destroyed the airfield and radar dome and possibly even destroyed a lot of their units as they responded if I'd have just had enough to overrun that initial defense line of Tesla coils and V2s, but when I didn't, I had to fall back and took too many losses, and that was my final chance. But fair play to my opponent, they did very well. And then I was just found myself under a lot of pressure, as you saw, you know, not good. But I'll go through the graphs and charts and that for you. So here's the army graph. Look, I was doing well at the start, quite well indeed, and then for the second half, my opponent was. So, ups and downs, that's how it goes in war. And there's the earnings graph. We're both fairly even, except for the end where my opponent, you know, took off and I was suffering and got worse. My opponent's finishing army. I've got a mine layer, some V2s, heavy tanks, a decent amount of infantry and engineers. And the combat graph, I've got a 19,000 army value. Yeah, it's not too much. It's okay. It's a decent finishing army, but it's not a massive amount, especially because they haven't got a massive amount of heavy tanks. It's just they used what assets they had very well. And that's more important, to be fair, than the size of the army. But I lost 26 structures. My opponent lost 15 structures. I killed 267 units. My opponent killed 344 units. I destroyed 71,000 credits worth of my opponent's assets. My opponent destroyed 98,000 credits worth of my assets. And their support powers are in effect power bombs, paratroopers, and spy plane. Because they're Ukraine, when they build an airfield, they get para bombs as well. Every 5 minutes, an aircraft brings and drops a row of para bombs, little bombs on parachutes. But like the Russians, they also get the paratroopers and the spy plane. So Ukraine just gets that extra power when you build an airfield. And here's the production tab. They're building Tesla coils and basics. Oh, infantry and Yak attack planes, actually. Economy tab. They've still hung on to their oil derrick here. They've got 10 ore trucks. Nice. I earned 114,000 credits. My opponent earned 139,000 credits. And I've got a couple of grand, but my opponent's got a very healthy economy with 12 grand still in the bank. Basics. I was at 29 actions per minute. My opponent was at 30 actions per minute. And there's your scores. 710 to me, 1,125 to my opponent. And there's all your stats and basics, graphs, etc. and tabs. So I hope you enjoyed the game. I did, even though it's a shame I couldn't finish the game and win. It's still great fun, and fair play to my opponent. Well done. So if you enjoyed what you saw, give us a sub and a like, and thank you very much for watching. But for now, take good care of yourselves, and goodbye.
Battle control terminated.